Welcome to the channel all about economic board games. Today I'm going to be giving you an overview of this game called Automania. Now this one plays 2 to 4, will take you roughly 60 minutes to 90 minutes, so a bit shorter game here for you to play, and you can see you got the designers at the bottom there. Now in this game you are essentially going to be running a production line of cars just on the side here, and you're going to be trying to produce them. So to kind of summarize briefly before I give you a bit more detail, you're going to be sending your workers over to this kind of actions on the side here in the hope of attaining these tiles, and these tiles are kind of what your workers are working on. Are you going to develop components for your car, and they'll kind of sit on the top of your factory here, and that basically means this car here, you've developed a better exhaust system, and you can see the stars represent sort of better fame or better achievements on your vehicles. Are you going to go in, train people up and get skilled managers in your office places? And you can see there's a host of spots, there's 4 there, and you're going to be paying to upkeep the offices there, and they'll give you extra benefits, like this guy can give you an extra worker as well. Are you going to be expanding things actually on your board itself? So this one will give you 2 fame, maybe you're going to get different components, so this is more luggage space, or maybe more power on your car, and you can pop these on your actual factory yourself. So you've got these 6 spots, and you can see when this car is getting produced on this sort of slightly faded purple line, it's going to go through these technologies, and it's going to be developed with those in mind as well. So that's kind of what you're going to be doing on this sort of action track. You got these 4 actions here, 1 up there and 4 there, so you're going to be acquiring tiles with your workers. You will then be applying the action, and you'll actually produce these cars at the top. So you've got 3 types of cars. They will come through the relevant ones, so straight down and straight here, and once they come off the production line, so they'll go down here, you'll add up all the stars, and you'll be putting them on to these ships. So depending if you're going to go to Europe or you got North America just over here, you're going to pick the ships you're going to go on based on how many stars it was worth, which I'll go through shortly. Say it's number 12, and then eventually you're going to be selling these, whoever's highest first, to the market, and you're going to get victory points. You'll then move over to this sales thing, depending on how many you can sell, some extra bonuses there, and that's pretty much it. You are running the factory, trying to get more efficient and get better things and more managers for your factory to get better cars, to put them out on these ships, to then sell them to the markets and get victory points or money. And that's pretty much a brief overview. So in a little bit more detail, then, when you actually go to this action spot here, depending on where you put your worker, you can see if you go here, you're going to get potentially a contract card, and those are at the top over here, and they're kind of like secret little missions you can do. So when you do this car here and it's got a value of 9 or more, and you've used a extra luggage space to pimp out that car as such, you're going to get 2 victory points. That's what this sort of little symbol here is, end game victory points. You can see this one's the family car, and if you get 14 stars, you're going to get 4 victory points. So as you complete them, you can get more as well, and you can take them from there. You can only ever do 1 at a time. What else we got? So the cars on the actual side then, if you go to these actions, if I can keep the camera steady, this one basically means that you'll be able to produce that particular car, but you have to pay, anything in red is what you have to pay, so 2 money, and money is tight in this game. So as well as taking a tile from the row, so we've gone here, you get to take a tile from this particular column. If you went here, you could take it from this column, and equally at the top of the same actions, you could take one from this row. So depending on what you're looking for as a tile and what sort of action you're willing to take, depends on where you're going to go and utilize your workers. Now there's a nice little trick in this game where, say if yellows have hogged that space at the top, but greens really want it, you can actually oust that player as long as you put 1 more meeple than your opponent. So in this case, they put 2 down, and the yellow one would actually go back to that player, which could then be used again as long as they're still in the round, which is really nice. It gives you more strength to go and do other actions, but also gives other players the opportunity to get on spots which they might not have been able to reach. So as I say, once you take those tiles, there's some cool things here. This guy's like a researcher, gets you an extra star. You got victory points that can go on your production chain. You got more fame. You got things like you're more environmentally friendly, better steering and power steering, better safety, so a host of things. And each round they'll get replenished, and you've got A's and B's at the top here. Some of the B's are really nice. I'll show you a few now. So some of them give you end game points, and you get more workers as well. Get more fame on this one for style. And you got these managers here that give you 4 victory points for that. Some of them let you sell more cars to the market. So so you've taken your action. You're going to be putting your managers down here. These little cars. So let's give you an example of this one then. So you would funnel it through this path here. It's got 1 star. You're getting another star for that one, so 2 stars. And you're going to have these 2. So depending on which market you're going to, which is kind of how you're choosing those technologies. So you can see if you're going to go to Europe, these are the technologies you need to get extra stars. So they're kind of like bonuses. And over in North America, you got these. So looking at our particular car, then our family car, we've got extra luggage and we've got that sort of rev counter. Now, it would probably be more advisable for us to go over, where should we say, this side probably, because you can see that this market is demanding cars with more luggage, and they're also demanding, actually it's probably better in North America because we've actually got those 2 symbols. So we probably want this one. We're going to get 2 stars because North America is demanding cars with luggage, and they're also demanding cars that have got a bit more power. So that's 5 stars. So we take the stars here, 5 plus the ones we already had on the output. So we got 6. We had 1 for the 7 there. If any of these gave you stars, that would add on. So this car is going to basically funnel through here. It comes out the other end, and you've got a tally of 7 stars. And because you've gone to this market here, you have to pick it on one of these ships here. And you can see you go to the number 7, you plonk your car down on there, and that's kind of tactical because you can see you're going to get 1 VP instantly. But if you'd have managed to take an extra worker, which you can do, you take it to the marketing department, I think it is, or sponsorship or something like that. You can see you can add workers there willy-nilly on your go, as many as you want, but remember you've only got 6, so you kind of want to utilize them properly. You can actually bump up your star value, and you can take several meeples there as well. So you could pay that one and bump into the 8 one, you get the 2 victory points. And this is kind of key because once everyone's put their workers out and you decide to withdraw from the phase and you go into the sales phase, the player then gets to pick. So let's say they start, well, it doesn't matter which order, but say yellow's used all their workers out here, green's still going, yellow then gets to move this token onto one of these 4 areas. Now, why is this important? Well, you can see they represent cars, and this is how many cars you can basically send to the market at that particular time. So if you go here, you're going to be first player on the next round, but you can also basically trade or sell 2 cars from the boats over to the market. Whereas if you go, say, 4th place, you can do as many cars as you want. 3rd place, you get a free one of these cards at the top. I can't remember what they call now, order cards. So you get one of them for free, which is nice, rather than having to go to these actions at the top. And you get free cards. Or you could go here and get one of these bonus tiles, which is the only way to get them. And maybe they were scarce up here and you kind of really wanted it, but someone else got it. And you get 2 cars. So it's kind of this playoff between how many cars you want to be able to take from your ships to the actual landmass and what sort of order you want to go in the next round. And when you actually then take them to landmass, it's based on whoever's got the highest value. So if 14 happens to be highest and then someone else has got 10, and you get first dibs as to where these go in the market. So clearly you're probably going to go for this spot, 3 victory points and 3 money, or actually maybe 5 money and 1 victory point. So there's a bit of a playoff. So the first card goes there, next person comes along and they decide here. You could leave it on here if you want to and save it for future rounds. You've also got this yacht spot if you manage to get 18 plus, which is mammoth, and get 9 victory points. Now, once everyone has withdrawn and everyone's decided which one of these they're going to take, if you've got 4 cars out here, 2 over there, 3 here maybe, but you've only chosen this one because you really want to go first, you could only actually do 2 of the cars. So you maybe do 1 here or 2 there, or vice versa. And it depends what maybe you want. You can get 6 victory points over here, whereas you can tend to get more money in the American markets. And then basically you end the round, and whoever has got the least victory points, that's all tracked around the side here, these little cool cars, they then get to make this crucial decision as to which of these technologies are going to go next. So for example, you've got red and blue, so you pick either red or blue, and then let's just say red in this example. So this one funnels over, this one funnels over, these 2 go down, red goes down because you've chosen red in this case, this one kind of goes up to the top to replace it, and then these 2 go down, and then you've chosen red. So you either choose red or blue then. and then this one, the arrows kind of show you where it's going, fills the top. So you can see how these are always in play, but the order of what the demand changes slightly throughout the game based on who's last on the victory points. So a bit of a catch-up mechanism, or might help them with their strategy as such. So you can see as you go throughout the game, the market demands different things. This is now slightly more valuable than it was before, so it helps you, work towards what you're after on your production. You then take all your meeples back, you take all these existing tiles off and you replenish them with all the A's, and you go to the B's, and then you will take your workers back from the markets if there was any here, or not your workers, your cars should I say, and then you crack on with another round. And there's 4 rounds in this game, and it kind of gives you some guidance on the side as to how to do the VPs at the end. So you get either 1 money or 1 victory point per car which is left on the market, so either America or Europe. You're going to get 1 point for each of those little green symbols that are either on your order cards like we showed you earlier, any of those, or if any of your actual workers have got them as well, like this one here has got 1 point. You're then going to get, interestingly, points based on how much money you've got. So whoever has the most money will get 10 victory points, and second is 6, and then 3. So it might be that you've only got 2 money but your opponent's only got 1, and you're actually going to clinch 10 points. Whereas if you're all combating over money, you might have like 30 money and everyone else is like, I'm not going to catch up, I'm just going to spend it all in the game to make the most of it. And that is pretty much it, folks. Now this one does play in that 60-minute mark. There's not much setup here. I like the simplicity and the way it's kind of formatted as these cars go through your production line, and I enjoy putting these extra technologies on if that focus is there. It's nice, there's 3 of these, and you do have to pay a little bit more money to go up. So it might be that you've got an exhaust build, you've got a star, and this car, you're going to focus on the supercar maybe because you've got 1, 2, 3 4 spots that goes through. The little car only goes through 2 spots, this one goes through 3, so nice, evenly balanced. Are you going to go for stars? Are you maybe going to get money? You can cover these up as well as you go through the game. So maybe these are the 3 in demand in the markets at the moment, and then you decide, right, I actually want to change this to a victory point 1 as well, because that car goes through it, this car goes through it, so you're making the most of those 2 cars. And as well, you've got these workers. I like that this gives you an extra one, which is nice. You can get extra stars, so there's a host of different things you can do. This one as well here, not only do you get a star, you also get to place an extra car. So if it gets a bit highly contested in the old sales part of the game, you might get lumbered here, and you're like, you got that bonus of that marketing manager to help you out there. So it's an interesting balance of getting these tiles and a competitive element in terms of, are you going to spend extra workers to oust an opponent from a spot you want? Are you going to send, several workers here to bump up your fame? What sort of timing are you going to actually withdraw from this phase, the action phase, and go into the sales phase? Because you might really want one of these tiles, or you want to, take first spot on the next round. And I like how these flow through and give slightly different variances from round to round as to what you're chasing. And then there's this competitive aspect as to which ship you're hoping to get on and get victory points, and how you want to get to the market first and take money and victory points. And money is really tight in this game. Some games I kind of go over here for the victory points and realise, oh damn, I need that money to be able to oust other players and pay for things as you go through. So there we are, folks, an overview of Automania.